I would do this incredible disservice, even though these are three of my favorite people that he's going to talk to you about up here from the past. Didn't get to know them personally. So Matt, would you take over? Sure. Come on, Matt. Thank
you. Well, when I first talked to Pat, she had asked me to do some paintings for the new cafeteria area, which, you know, this is a step up. So I think I made Pat happy. She had come to me based on some of the paintings that she had seen that I had done previously. One of the paintings, the first painting I ever did, is in my office right now, hanging on the wall. Some of you, probably all of you, have noticed it. And she liked my style and the things that I kind of brought in historical topics and used those to juxtapose against emotional concepts and different statements. So she wanted me to do something. The only stipulation that I had was that it would be nice if it were somehow related to architecture. So I thought about it for a long time, and not really having a background in architecture, I was really not sure what to do. So I talked to a bunch of friends and colleagues in architecture and in art history specifically. And I knew that I wanted to do something that was going to be a series of 3. And I knew I was going to use tags because I'm a little obsessed with tags. So I wanted to use them in some way that could depict human emotions. So I spoke with one of my professors from Westchester who now teaches at the New School in New York City. And he gave me the idea of researching these 3 architects' narratives and finding some way to compare the 3 architects. So I've taken Louis Sullivan and Frank Lloyd Wright and Le Corbusier and juxtaposed them against human experiences and what it means to be human. And I did a little more research because I had the 3, but then I had 4 sections that I wanted to do on each one, so I needed something that I could break them down into 4. And I did some research on that idea of human experience, just kind of stuck in my head, and I did some research on human experiences and a different way that I could categorize them into 4 stages, and I came across the work of, she's received an honorary doctorate, so Dr. Maria H. White, who actually just passed away last month, so it's kind of interesting. And she coined 4 classifications for all human experiences. I mean, it seems kind of obvious now, but psychological, spiritual, physical, and physiological. So I took those 4 categories, and I took very general, random human experiences, and I developed a series of levels that could be used to translate basic human experiences through the eyes and the work and ideas and thoughts and quotes of these architects. And to do that as a whole, the end product kind of should, I hope, on some level give you an idea of the actual human experiences of the architects themselves and the way they might have interacted with their world and others around them. So that's a little bit mixed up, but sort of the idea of what these represent. So should we? Okay.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. And the wall got painted.
The wall got painted.
Yeah.
Chris and George.
Okay, so. It's a lot of tags. Now it gets tricky. This is the part that I'm not so great at, but the first level, there's 4 visual levels in each one of the levels, as you'll see and read in your little flip books. Each visual level represents one of those 4 states that we classify all human experiences by. Each one of the tags has 2 human experiences written on it. They're kind of random, but they completely identify with their governing state. Each one of the paintings, this one is, just to clarify, this one is Louis Sullivan. That one in the middle, the green and blue one, is Frank Lloyd Wright, and the one on the far right is Le Corbusier. And each one of them has 4 sections. So each one has a physiological section, a physical, a psychological, and a spiritual section. The human experiences that are written on each of the tags kind of can be categorized by that. This is tricky, because it's not until the second visual level, which I guess I might as well go ahead and show you, that you actually see the key that you use to decipher why that human experience could be classified in that state. In each one of the cards that you have, it shows, on the inside, the 4 panels, it shows 3 sections in each category. And each one of those sections will tell you which one on the pieces is physical, physiological, psychological, and spiritual. The smallest section on all of them is spiritual. I'll give you that one. The other ones you kind of have to figure out for yourself. And because I don't know how to explain it. But as you open the door and reveal this is the second and third visual levels. As you see, the second visual level is a quote by the architect. And as you read the quote, you can go back then and look at the individual experiences on each of the tags and see why that experience would be classified as psychological, physical, physiological, or spiritual. As you open each door, you see one quote by the architect. And that'll give you a small glimpse into the architect's mind and their creative, energy and whatever they were trying to accomplish with their work. Just as you are revealing one at a time on the left, on the second visual level, the third visual level is on these canvas portraits on the right side. And as you can, they kind of serve hand in hand to show that you can read each one of the quotes individually, but you can also read all 4 quotes as all 4 doors are opened consecutively. And instead of gaining a small glimpse into the architect's mind, you're seeing 4 statements that pretty much encapsulate what the architect is trying to say in their work, or what they're, with Lloyd Wright, for example. Well, I'll do Corbusier, for example, instead, because I'm better with that one. It's my favorite. A house is a machine worth living in. A house is a machine made for living in. And so that's just one section of what he has to say, but if you read all 4 of them together, you get a great picture for all of the work that he's done and the things that, in his narratives. So as you open all of them and read all 4 of the quotes consecutively, you then see the portrait of the architect underneath. And that just goes to show you that you're supposed to read all of them together. The third visual level is physical, I believe. It's the actual architect. And then the last visual level takes everything in the previous visual levels and shows you work in one form or another of the architect that he's actually created that serve to synthesize, we're sharing, what you've seen in the previous visual levels. So there's 4 visual levels altogether. It's totally meant to be interactive. You're supposed to come up and touch it, move everything, read everything. They're secure. So it's meant to be a human experience in itself. So.